Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Common Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, and the time is 7 p.m. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Kim Smith,
Here.
Tom Smith,
Here.
Dan Stevens,
Present.
Stephen Knott,
Present.
Leanne Stokes. Here. Larry Jurassic,
Present.
Diane Wolf. Here.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
Liberty and justice.
Thank you. Just a reminder, this is a harassment-free forum. City council and subcommittee meetings shall be conducted in a courteous manner. Citizens, council, and committee members shall be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free of slander, obscene remarks, or threats of violence. Sufficient warnings may be given by the sergeant at arms or the chair at any time during the remarks, and in the event that any individual shall violate the rules of decorum as set forth, each person may then be cut off from comment or debate. Item 4 is public input. If you'd like to address the council this evening, please come up to the podium, begin by stating your name and your address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to address the Common Council this evening? Come on up, sir. Welcome. Begin by stating your name and address.
Sorry.
Oh,
Turn that up.
are we good? I'll start over. My name is Bruce Wabra. I live at 528 South Court Street in Onalaska. I'm just gonna kind of do a recap from last week for the people that weren't here. Back on the 30th of January, a warning was left on my mother's front door of her house, stating that her sidewalk needed to be shoveled. My mother's 90 years old. She doesn't come out the front door. She's got Alzheimer's. I do everything I possibly can for her. And this got slipped by. And when I went on the website for Onalaska and under the facts, under sidewalk maintenance during the winter, I'll just cut to the chase. It says the city enforces this requirement by first informing property owners who have not complied by mail. This was not done. I didn't get nothing in the mail. I would have got something in the mail. We probably wouldn't be standing here. But the thing that I would like to kind of state, I understand about the snow. Last week, everybody was like, well, it clearly shows that there's snow there. I get that. I'm not fighting that part. The part is how it was handled. And they took a picture of the front door with the tag on it. And right by the door, there's a slot. And I said, they could have just easily put that into the slot. My mother would have seen it. She immediately would have called me because she worries about everything. And I would have been up there and it would have gotten shoveled. I got no issue with that. But somebody did kind of mention that, well, we can't do that because of USPS laws. And so when I got home, I'm going to read this. It says, is it illegal to put a flyer into a mail slot in someone's front door? Technically, it is not a mailbox. No, it is not illegal. A door slot is one exception to the mailbox rules. The USPS domestic mail manual states that door slots and non-lockable bins or troughs used with apartment houses mailbox are not letter boxes within the meaning of 18 USC 1725 and are not private mail receptacles for the standards for mailable matter not bearing a postage found in or on a private mail receptacles. So I was going to just come in here and I was going to, state this, but then I took it a step further and I went to the post office and I talked with the postmaster. I says, can you please read this for me? And do you agree with it? And she read it and she said, yes. She's even signed her name, postmaster, her phone number. And she wrote on here, this information's correct. Something so simple that we would not be discussing this. I would not be here trying to plead my case for something that would have just took a matter of minutes, seconds to open up that slot, and they could have done it. It's not against the USPS rules. So saying that, if this does not get resolved, and you're going to force me to pay this for my mother's sidewalk, I had to hand deliver. My attorney Lee here had tried contacting the city attorney a couple of times, he said, and was not getting any return phone calls. So I went to his office today and he printed out a letter stating further action
3 minutes, Your Honor.
that will be taken. And that's what we'll do if we have to then. And she's got the letter and everything. So thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone else like to address the Common Council this evening? Second call for anyone who would like to address the Common Council this evening. Third and final call for any further public input. Public input is now closed, and we will move on to our public hearing that we have this evening, which is to consider adoption of a final resolution to vacate and discontinue a portion of public land located between 1224 Cliffview Avenue and 1227 Oak Avenue North, City of Onalaska, La Crosse County, Wisconsin. This resolution, the actual resolution will be addressed later on in the agenda under 12B. But this is just considering the final adoption of the final resolution. Would anyone like to speak in favor of that final resolution? Yeah. Are you Pete? I have you on the agenda and I'll let you know when it's your turn. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for asking though, because that's helpful. Okay. So we're talking about to vacate and discontinue the final resolution. Second call for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak in favor of this. Now I'll open the public hearing to people wishing to speak against. Would anyone like to speak against the final resolution to vacate and discontinue a portion of public land in Onalaska? Second call for anyone wishing to speak against. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak against this item. Okay, the public hearing is now closed, and the actual resolution will be addressed later on in the agenda this evening. Item 6, report from the mayor. We do have Pete here. Now it's your turn, Pete. He's coming up to talk to us about the Red Cross. And I've also prepared, while he's walking up here, I have prepared a proclamation declaring March 2023 as American Red Cross Month. Whereas during American Red Cross Month in March, we celebrate the humanitarian spirit of Onalaska and reaffirm our commitment to help ensure no one faces a crisis alone. Whereas caring for one another is at the heart of our community and exemplified by the people of Onalaska, whose simple acts of kindness through the Red Cross provide help and hope in people's most difficult moments, continuing the life-saving legacy of Clara Barton, who founded the organization more than 140 years ago to prevent and alleviate suffering. Whereas every day, these extraordinary individuals lend a helping hand to make an extraordinary difference for their neighbors in need, whether it's providing emergency shelter, food, comfort, donating life-saving blood, supporting military members and veterans, using vital skills like first aid and CPR, or delivering international humanitarian aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by crisis around the world. Whereas their support, volunteerism, and generous donations are critical to our community's resilience. Whereas we hereby recognize this month of March in honor of all those who fulfill Clara Barton's noble words, you must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it. Now, therefore, as Mayor of Onalaska, Wisconsin, I do hereby proclaim as follows, that March of 2023 is declared American Red Cross Month, and that all citizens of Onalaska are encouraged to reach out and support the American Red Cross's humanitarian mission. And with that, I'll turn it over to Pete, who has a brief presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the time here. I want to introduce myself. I've been a volunteer out of the La Crosse office for 7 years. I remember when Larry was in there with us. Thank you very much. I'm undertaking kind of a new role out of La Crosse office, that of a community volunteer leader. One of my jobs is to get to know mayors and fire chiefs in the cities surrounding La Crosse and be a contact person in case of emergencies. So if a big fire happens, if a major flooding event happens, and the mayor or the fire chief or anybody else in the city wants to know what the Red Cross can do or is doing about it, you can call me if you want. I'm a local face. I hope to get to know a lot of you, at least on an informal basis. And I won't have all the answers, but I can get the answers for you. So I'm a local person that can fill you in on what's happening in your city. We had a big event in Viroqua about a year and a half ago. A senior hotel burned completely to the ground, and there were 25 seniors without a home. And the Red Cross ran a shelter there for 3 or 4 weeks until suitable housing could be provided to those people. That's the kind of things we can do. I just had a conversation a few weeks ago with Chief Goody, and he asked, who do we go to if we need to open a shelter for any reason? I said, if it has anything to do with a natural disaster, call the Red Cross. Your emergency manager in the county is also going to probably direct you to the Red Cross first. So this is a step, and I appreciate the proclamation. I've also provided a 2022 impact statement. Have those been handed out, Mayor? So this gives you an idea of what the Red Cross did in the southwest region of Wisconsin. So the Red Cross divides the state into 5 regions. We have 18 counties in the southwest region. And on your sheet, you can see exactly what we did in calendar year 2022. And it's a lot, including collecting over 80,000 units of blood, which is a big part of what the Red Cross does. So I appreciate the proclamation. I hope everybody feels comfortable in calling me in case of an emergency. And I honestly hope you never have to call me, okay? But if you do, please give me a ring and give me some time to get you answers. Other than that, anybody have any questions about the Red Cross?
Does anyone have any questions?
Larry's an expert on it after having worked there for a couple of years. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in. We appreciate your partnership to help us respond in times of need. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Could I just make a comment?
Alder Jurassic.
Yeah, thanks, Pete, for your speech here, but another program that they do a lot on is fire alerts, smoke detectors in people's homes. They'll come to your home and install those if you don't have anything around. And that's one of the programs I worked with quite a bit with. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Item B, Cops Gone Wild event recognition and award winners. For this, I will turn it over to one of our favorite cops, Chief Ashbeck.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm happy to announce if you haven't heard, the winners of our most recent Buffalo Wild Wings Cops Gone Wild event as a fundraiser for our special athletes. And so in the Chiefs and Sheriffs Division, Chief Philip Welch from Coon Valley took that. Sadly, your local chief did not, but word is he took second. So we're sticking with that. Officers Division, the La Crosse officer, Colin Sheridan, won that division. In the Dignitaries Division, La Crosse Mayor Mitch Reynolds won that division. And then last but not least, our special athlete local in Onalaska, Scott Prairie. Is he here tonight?
No, I invited him, but he said he had a conflict.
Okay. Yes, so that rounded up our winners and overall it was a successful event and many of our staff were there helping and the reserves were helping. And so it was a great event.
Any word on how much the fundraiser raised for Special Olympics? I know it was fun, even if it didn't raise money, but
I thought the figure I heard was close to $2,000.
all right, great. Thank you for everyone who participated or attended Buffalo Wild Wings that day for the fundraiser. That was great. Continuing on with that theme of Special Olympics report on the Polar Plunge. I'll handle that report, but the Polar Plunge is an event for Special Olympics Wisconsin, which really benefits over 8,000 children and people in our surrounding region. All the money from the Polar Plunge stays right here in our community to support our own Special Olympians. So I'm really proud to be able to participate in this every year. And Alder Stevens was there. He was my plunge buddy, and Chief Ashbeck gave me a 10. I saw him. And thank you all who donated to that. Our City of Onalaska team raised $675. So thank you for everyone for that. Item D, recognition of Clarence Stelner. I just wanted to take a moment out to memorialize the passing of Clarence Stelner. He served as mayor here in Onalaska from 1996 to 2000, and he was an alderperson for many years. I know he was a mentor to me, and I think many of us that are serving here as well as the city employees. He was a good man, and he will be missed. Item E, Resolution 15-2023 to amend the Long Range Planning Committee. A little background on this: we're getting in preparation to do our to update and redo our long range comprehensive plan. In doing so, we were reviewing the structure of that committee and felt some changes were warranted as described in the resolution. So ask the indulgence of the Common Council to consider Resolution 15-2023 at this time.
Motion to approve Resolution 15-2023 as presented in the packet.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Alder Wolf. It's been seconded by Alder Knott to approve the resolution. Is there any discussion? Not hearing or seeing any, please respond. Respond. Aye in favor. All those in favor of passing this resolution, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Recommendations for approval and or possible action from the following committees, commissions, boards, and officials. All items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests removal, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the order of business on the non-consent agenda. Are there any items the councilors would like removed from the consent agenda? Amanda Jackson.
I would wonder if you would entertain staff. We would request that item 7J be removed.
Seven J is the ordinance in regards to the street naming of Hilltopper Drive to Hilltopper Place. I think a counselor has to actually remove it.
I'll recommend that we remove item J, ordinance 1760-2023.
Thank you. Are there any other items the counselors would like removed from the consent agenda? Not seeing or hearing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Jurassic to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The consent agenda is passed. See, that will bring us to item 8, a recap of items pulled from the consent agenda. We just have one. It is item J. We could probably go ahead and just address that one right now. That is under judiciary. So is that you or judiciary? What? Item J from judiciary, I'll turn it over to you, Leanne.
I'd like Amanda to talk about that.
Yeah, I apologize for the last minute change. We have learned some additional information between the time that this went through A&J and today. This was something that was brought forth actually by the county. It was their request. They had been surveying some land along Hilltopper Drive and noticed that the addressing was incorrect on the high school. And so they had asked the city to fix it. The city in good faith proceeded with this ordinance change. Upon further discussion, there are other considerations to be given. For instance, dispatch is one consideration. Additionally, in discussing this with the high school, this may not be the best addressing choice for them. They also were mistaken. They thought that the circular loop at the back of the high school where you generally have the drop off was actually Hilltopper Place, and then going up the hill was Hilltopper Drive. They didn't understand one was a private drive, one is a public street. And so we've had some further discussions with the school district, including just this morning. They would like to do some more work internally to kind of figure out what the best choice is moving forward, and also considering dispatch and what that will do as far as responses go if we change the address for the high school. And so we would ask that this just be referred back to the Plan Commission at this time.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to refer item ordinance 1760-2023 to the next meeting, to the.
back to staff.
Maybe just refer it back to staff, I guess.
Or refer the agenda item back to staff.
I second it.
Okay, motion by Alder Stevens, second by Tom Smith, for this item, ordinance 1760-2023, back to staff for further evaluation. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That brings us up to Finance Committee. Alder Stevens.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under item 9A vouchers, following is a list of monies expended since the last common council meeting dated February 14th, 2021. And the total is $2,664,757.35. And I will make a motion to approve the vouchers. Second that.
We have a motion on the floor by Alder Stevens. It's been seconded by Alder Smith to approve the vouchers. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Item 9B is resolution 16-2023, awarding the sale of $3,725,000 in general obligation corporate purpose bonds. I will make that as a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Stevens. It's been seconded by Stephen Knott. Is there any discussion? Did you want to say anything? Is there any discussion?
I mean,
Sabrina Steger.
thank you. I guess I could just add that every year it is a pleasure to work with Bayard and Quarles and Brady. They do really good work for the city. We did find out that, and I sent this out to you via email, that our projection of 4% was high, and thankfully our tick came in at 3.69, which is our true interest rate. So that was all good news.
Thank you. That's good to hear. Okay, so the motion on the floor is to approve. Any other discussion? So you have to do a voting by roll call. So I'll turn it over to the clerk for the roll call vote.
Larry Jurassic,
Yeah.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Dan Stevens,
Aye.
Leanne Stokes,
Aye.
Tom Smith,
Aye.
Diane Wolf. Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Alder Stevens.
Moving on to item C is approval of a second Onalaska Police Department K-9. The Finance and Personnel Committee met last week and heard a presentation from, I believe it was Sergeant Flatten, Officers
Sutton.
Sutton and Zumak. They have presented an opportunity and offering to raise the funds to get a second K-9 unit for the department and make it so that there would be continuity where we would always have one and you don't have a lapse in training. We were very impressed with the presentation and invited the police department to come back. We're not expecting them, although I guess they could if they wanted, to make the whole presentation again. But if any of the police officers had any thoughts or they wanted to share, or if Officer Elias is comfortable, I don't know if you want to trot Mary
We
out.
put a motion on the floor first.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the second Onalaska K-9.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Stevens. It's been seconded by Alder Knott. Is there further discussion? Do you have any questions for the officers or do you want to, Alder Wolf?
If any
Everybody was there for the,
police officers had anything to add or they wanted to reiterate, they're welcome to speak now. Or forever hold your peace.
they look good. They're not fighting for the microphone. We can bring a microphone to you. We could have Mary retrieve it. Well, we couldn't, but Rich could.
So
Okay.
I'd like to continue on that note. There was some discussion on how the K-9 unit is funded, and there's really nothing that we can make any changes in the city for now. The police department is taking on the fundraising solely with donations. However, I would just ask that when we get to budget time, if we could look at maybe some of the capital expenses like the squad car, and at least bring that up for discussion. All the training where they send the officer off and the training with the dog, the purchase of the dog, the care of the dog, that's always been based off of donations and would likely continue. I just think it'd be nice if we could look at trying to help support the department.
And with the challenges with ordering vehicles, it might be better to get that vehicle ordered as soon as we could, but we can keep
It's
working
separate.
on this. Any other comments? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the police department going forward with their fundraising endeavors. Was that wasn't exactly how you worded your motion.
No, but I would like to add endeavors into the language
All
now.
right. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate all you've done and all you do for our community.
Good luck in your fundraising effort. So
You'll have to hit us all up for some
Yeah.
money. Okay, item 10, Board of Public Works and Utilities, Alder Knott.
Well, we have both A and B. We'll discuss separately, of course, but these are both bids and I will turn it over to Jared.
Thank you. Handed out tonight were bids that were received for the 2023 utility project. Those were open today. As you can see from the handout, we did have two available bidders that bid our work today. Gerke Excavating and A1 Excavating. You can see that the difference in the bids is quite substantial. With that, we are recommending Gerke Excavating to be awarded the project at $887,863.62. I would point out that the original engineer's estimate was at the budgeted amount in the capital improvements budget. We actually budgeted $854,000 for this project. It's been a turbulent bidding environment, to say the least, over the last 18 months. With the projects that are out for bid, we're seeing inflated costs for especially asphalt, concrete products. As an example, usually machine curb and gutter was running for many years $10 to $12 a foot, going up to $12 a foot, and this bid today came in at almost $20 a foot. So we've got some products that are staying kind of where they've been historically, and other products in our bids that are raising up. Just going through our capital improvements budget, we had $197,000 budgeted for sanitary sewer. We came in at $200,064. For water, we had $238,000 budgeted. We came in at $227,164. For storm sewer, we had $110,000 budgeted. We came in at $152,214. And in the general column, which is our pavement items, concrete, curb and gutters, sidewalk and things, we had 309,000 budgeted and we came in at 308,421. As you can see, it's amazing that the water, sewer and general came in really within dollars of what we had budgeted, which is actually a bad thing because we actually budgeted a 15% contingency. So that means that our prices already came in and consumed all of our contingency on those items. The storm sewer is substantially over. Part of that reason is when we budgeted this project, the storm sewer was not designed yet. Due to the design of the project, we added 500 foot of storm sewer that wasn't in the original budget, plus the cost increases you're seeing. That has been funded through the 110,000 through the less already bonded. So it was coming out of the capital projects fund balance, of which there is enough monies to cover the overage in the storm sewer area. I guess with that, I would say that Gerke Excavating has done work in our city previously. We are very fortunate. I think we got in our bidding environment today, I think we got a very fortunate bid, even though it's more than what we had budgeted. We'd like to move forward with the project. The prices are not going to go down from what we've seen, and you can see where the second bidder is at. So staff is recommending approval.
Thank you for that, Jared.
I move to approve the bid by Gerke Excavating for $887,863.62 for the 2023 utility project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Wolf. Is there any other discussion? Alder Knott.
Just a concern as we continue through this year, and I think I mentioned it once before in a previous meeting too, because of the inflation of a lot of these construction materials, as these keep continuing to come in higher than what we anticipated, there's going to come a time, if that continues, that we're going to have to take a look and see if there's something we need to eliminate in the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Alder Knott. Jared Holter.
I would agree with that. We are as staff working with the finance department, looking at project estimates, what we've budgeted for projects in the capital improvement budget. And from what I can see, we got a couple more bids to go out yet. Miscellaneous concrete, 2023 pavement project. We got a truck bid opening in a couple weeks. Out of all those bids, including what we see today, there's going to be a project that's going to have to give in there because we just do not have enough money budgeted, even with contingencies and conservative budgeting. I've been doing this, the capital improvements budget for 17 years, been assisting here with it for 27 years. And I've never seen it where we have not, we've ran our bids up to the cost of the project that's been budgeted. That's a historical average that we just have never seen. So this next year's capital improvement budget, as I've stated previously, when that budget is put together and compiled by staff, those numbers you'll see will be higher than previously because we will need to reflect the current bidding environment.
Thank you for that, Jared. Any other questions or comments? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the 2023 utility project bid. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Alder Knott.
Then for item 10B, this is the 2023 urban forestry program bid. Back to Jared.
I've handed out the urban forestry bids that we received today, also open today. We had two bidders. Staff is recommending Hoffman and McNamara for $37,997. The tree prices came in a little bit higher than what we had thought, but they're in the realm of not a large increase. With the trees, those costs are somewhat, there's nothing mechanical in a tree. So it's kind of a fixed cost that they've got them already planted in the ground and they'll take them out and supply them for us. So we did have 25,000 budget in urban forestry, and we had another 13,000 in the DNR grant that we were going to spend. So we do have 38,000, so we can cover the cost of the urban forestry program with the monies budgeted.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the bid by Hoffman and McNamara for $37,997 to conduct the 2023 urban forestry program.
We have a motion on the floor by Alder Knott. It's been seconded by Alder Jurassic. Is there any further discussion? Alder Wolf?
Thank you, Your Honor. So Jared and or Katie or whoever wants to answer. So under item B, 10B in the packet, under the items of bid, it talks about contractors shall provide all labor, equipment, materials, and traffic control as deemed necessary by the city of Onalaska for installation and maintenance of trees. So the contractor they're providing maintenance of the trees?
They have to warranty them for 1 year. So that's basically the maintenance item is that they have to warranty them. We will perform, pruning on them. We want to prune them in the first year, but watering is a big one.
Okay,
That's one where we don't specify watering in our contracts.
but the maintenance is just,
It's more of a warranty
One-year
than
warranty.
maintenance, but yeah, they've got to maintain them to make sure that they live and that they're supplying us a product that will survive. And if there's something that needs to be done to make sure.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, the motion on the floor is to approve the 2023 urban forestry program bid. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. This item passes unanimously. Item 11, a report from Alderperson Knott.
Yeah, so on the 16th of February, I was able to ride along with Assistant Chief Les Noren on 2 calls. And of course, no surprise, very impressed with the professionalism of our emergency responders. Very impressed with the equipment. Got to see some of that in action. I also want to highlight how fortunate we are. Sometimes we take things for granted. I know on the second call, which was, none of their calls are routine, but this was less serious than the first one. But with a standard call for this, there was a command vehicle that responded, an engine, an ambulance, and a police car with a total of 8 professional responders on site. And this is normal for us, but it is not normal for the rest of the world. I can assure you that, having seen it. And I just want everyone to understand how fortunate we are that we value life so highly that we would respond with such an overwhelming response of emergency responders to make sure that, that individual was cared for. It really hit me home when I was looking at what was there again, and having seen what I have in the world. This is really, we're so fortunate to live where we do. I do have one concern I want to bring up. When I was riding with Assistant Chief Noren, he has his lights flashing and his siren blaring, and I was in shock at how many other drivers would not pull aside. He had to go around multiple, over the course of the 2 responses, it was easily 10 to 12, including on 4-lane highway where neither car, and he had to go around onto the oncoming side when it was clear to get around them. I've asked both of the police and the fire department if they could just take a look at maybe some recommendations that are feasible and suitable on how we can address this. I actually was getting very angry, and I don't anger very much. And I was really in shock. And then when I asked the question, is this normal? And the answer was, it's becoming more normal all the time. It's not how I was taught to drive. It's not. And I got to believe that when people are getting taught for their driver's license, that they are reinforced, pull aside for emergency response vehicles. It's the law. So I know everyone here knows this, but I just wanted to share with you that if some of you all have also done ride-alongs, I don't know if you've experienced it or not, but it was shocking to me. So I don't know. It's something that we don't want to consider addressing in the very near future to see if we can fix this in whatever way is possible. But again, phenomenal ride-along. It was not even scheduled. I was there to visit for another reason when the call came in, and I was asked, do you want to go? And absolutely. So I really want to applaud Les also for asking me to do that. So thank you.
Thank you, Alder Knott, for your insight. Item 12, interim city administrator Amanda Jackson.
All right, well, we are finally in the final stages of our City of Onalaska rebrand. And so that means we get to launch our new brand. And so We've set aside 2 p.m. at April 11th to have a launch day event here at the city. We're looking at, as you can see in your packet, kind of the agenda for that would be, this would be a brand unveiling to the public as well as members of the media. We think the event would last about 30 minutes. We would like to, with your blessing, close City Hall for those 30 minutes, at least shut down operations of the individual departments. Because part of what we would like to do is we would like to do a coordinated group photo of all city employees and elected officials in front of City Hall. Bill Colt has kindly offered to use his drone to take that photo. And so this would be a great photo that we can use both for marketing purposes and on the new city website. We are looking at providing all city staff and elected officials with a new shirt with the new city brand on it that we can wear for those photos. We will have the news here. We will have basically a video that kind of goes over the new brand and highlights Onalaska and some of our great community assets. And so that's kind of our current plan right now. I'm just throwing it out there in case anybody has concerns or questions ahead of time. I would be happy to answer those. And then we are internally working on a brand standards guide, which is kind of that final component that takes all of the stuff we've approved this far and puts it in a package for all staff to use. And we've been given some feedback as department and staff on that document. Once that's done, I will put a copy in all of your boxes, but that's kind of what tells us how we use the brand moving forward. So,
Does anyone have any questions or comments or at the moment, Alder not?
If I'm not opposed to closing the city hall for 30 minutes, but obviously if we do, we have to come out with a way to notify the public early and often. So.
Yeah, we would use social media. We would have signage ahead of the event for, several days, letting people know. And it would be, we would be closed for such a short period of time. I feel like the inconvenience would be relatively minor.
And we'll still be here.
Yes.
It just won't be.
They could join our event. The event would be open to the public. They just won't be able to go in and, get a license for that little bit of window.
Thank you for sharing that. We're excited about it. Okay, and then the big item, resolution 17-2023.
All right, this is the final resolution to vacate and discontinue a portion of public land located between 1224 Cliffview Avenue and 1227 Oak Avenue. I feel like we've talked about this at several meetings over the last month or so. This is that portion of the wellhead at 1227 Oak Avenue that is in the yard of 1224 Cliffview Avenue. And so the city is remedying this by basically vacating and discontinuing that little strip of land, which will then be transferred over to 1224 Cliffview Avenue. So this is our final resolution in that process.
Thank you. What is the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 17-2023 as stated in our attached agenda.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Alder Smith. It's been seconded by Alder Stokes. Is there any discussion? Answer when your name is called.
Leanne Stokes,
Here, aye, I'm sorry.
Tom Smith,
Aye.
Larry Jurassic,
Aye.
Diane Wolf,
Aye.
Dan Stevens,
Aye.
Stephen Knott.
Aye.
Motion pass or resolution passes unanimously. Thank you. And thank you for attending so many meetings. All right. Brings us to item C.
All right, our last item under my report is the automatic aid agreement for fire protection and other emergency services for Onalaska Fire Department and Holman Area Fire Department. This is an auto aid agreement, basically providing automatic aid through dispatch for structure fires. It has gone through the Holman Village Board for approval. And was it approved by the fire board or is that next?
Later this month, it's going to the fire board.
Okay, and so we are the next step in that approval process.
It has been to their board. So
Yes.
this is the agreed upon version. We anticipate it being
It
approved.
started in Holland, or started at the fire board, and then it went to the town of Holland and then the village of Holman. Now it's going back to the fire board for final approval and signatures, is my understanding.
So we'd like to ask the council for approval of this automatic aid agreement.
I move that we approve item C per the printed agenda, the automatic aid agreement for fire protection and other emergency services for Onalaska Fire Department and Holman Area Fire Department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Alder Wolf. It's been seconded by Alder Knott. Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. Item 13, adjournment.
I move
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion by Tom Smith, seconded by Larry Jurassic to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. The time. What's the time, Diane?
7:46.
7:46. That is
That's